The fact that Bernabe scores a cracker of it wasn't a cracker of a goal. He chased down the ball after he sort of kicks it to no one. But the fact he gets his reward. The Celtic manager, Brendan Rodgers, we've got a lot of Celtic news to get through, so don't worry, we'll cover everything. There's been a lot went on in the last 24 hours, so we will talk about all that in today's video. The Celtic manager did applaud his never say die attitude of Bernabe, and he said afterwards, he says, well, that's what you get. You make a bad pass and it ended up a goal. Massive credit to him. He says, but he played a great ball in Portugal with outside his foot. He has it within him to be that good player. He says he tried it tonight and he kicked the ground. He says, I always say play until the last pass. His last pass wasn't good, but he got his reward. And it was great for the supporters on the ground to see a goal. Said Brendan Rodgers. Right, let's get to the big news. Is obviously Kyogo. We did a video last week about the fact that Kyogo he's still got that ongoing shoulder injury. It's now said that it's likely to need surgery. Well, if it's likely to need surgery, why haven't we got that sorted out now? Because when we go into the season, we know that there's defenders in Scotland that even last season we saw at games, they were running into Kyogo off the ball, they were shoulder charging him, knocking him to the ground. If they think that there's a even 5% chance that he's going to go off injured, they're going to target him. I know, and that's the worst thing that we need going into the Champions League is for Kyogo to maybe get quarter of the way through the Champions League campaign and need to go in for surgery. I think it's something that the player himself should have. I mean, players try and cover up injuries all the time because they want to play and he wants to do his best for the club. But I think we should have really had this sorted out during the closed season so that we went into the season as strong as we can. We have played another player in his position and with the pace that he's got, but is he as good as Kyogo in that position? Well, he plays for it in the Japanese national team, so let's see how we get on. There will be a triple signing announcement this week to sort of make us feel good about everything that's going on. A lot of people are feeling underwhelmed by the signing so far. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. We've obviously brought in Marco and then Ohm from Norway, so the players have been in. Marco is injured. We've got the young Korean boys coming in this week, and then we also have the 4.3 million defender, which should help alleviate some of the problems at the back, because we all know that Cameron Carter-Vickers is fantastic, but he's still not, well, the big news is coming up about Cameron Carter-Vickers in a moment, but we all know that Starfelt has the odd dodgy pass about him, so the fact that we've spent 4.3 million on a centre half on a 5-year deal is absolutely fantastic for Celtic, and there will be that triple signing announcement incoming on Monday or Tuesday. It's probably going to be Monday because Celtic will want to make as much good press as possible during the week. But there is one player that disappoints me in a way, and I think the club have tried their utmost to accommodate the player and get him out of the club as much as they could, but Celtic striker, yes, a striker that we're talking about wanting out of the club is Albion Hatate. It's reportedly he's rejected the club of a pay-off instead of to choose to see his final year of his contract. Now, I've got issues with this because it shows no ambition for the player. It's all about money. There's no way that he's going to get back into the team. We've already lost 4.5 million on a goalkeeper that we let go for nothing. We paid him off. He obviously wants to go and resume his career. You can see I would say that he's a better person because he wants to actually play football. Hatate went off and played at Sturm Graz last season on loan, and they thought he wasn't even worth £2 million, which was sort of a slap in the face to us. But the fact that Celtic did pay £5 million for him during Neil Lennon's reign in 2020 as manager, he's not made any impact at all, but he has said that he would rather stick around. Now, is that because he wants to try and prove himself? The fact that he wasn't even on the Japanese tour says it all to me, and he's not going to get anywhere near the team. Celtic do not rate him as a player. Tell me your thoughts in the comment about Albion Hajate's decision not to leave Celtic. Does it prove a determination to stay and try and make sure that he is a player, or is he just here for the money and he's just doing one thing and he's not pleased with the offer that Celtic made him? Another player, Jesus God, it's all happening today. Another player that has been a bit more honest back in his home country. about what he wants to achieve in his career, that Rio Hatate. He says that's what he's looking for is a real challenge, and he wants to basically play in the English Premiership if he can. There's been talk about why haven't we given Hatate a contract extension. We haven't given him a contract extension because he joined obviously a little bit later than Kyogo. He still has 3 years remaining on his contract, so the club are in a strong position. If it will go this window, there was always that threat, and people thought if anybody's going to come in for anyone, it is going to be Hatate because of the way that he handled himself in the Champions League last season. He was one of the sort of the good points of our campaign last year, and in the league, the fact that fans would love to see him commit to a longer term future at the club, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that he will be sold either this winter after the Champions League or maybe even next summer. I hope he's not sold this summer because it's a player that we really want to see progress and perform in the Champions League, and if he obviously performs in the Champions League, it means we get more money in the bank. Yep, we get more money in the bank. Anyway, let's get back to some good news with regards to Celtic. I spoke about Cameron Carter-Vickers just a moment ago, and an injury update with him is he has resumed full training, and he obviously meet up with the rest of the squad this week in Lennoxtown. But the fact that he's went back and he started full training again, it's hopeful we'll get him back within a game or two into the season. It doesn't look like he'll make the first game of the season, but his performances last year were absolutely outstanding. We obviously knew he needed that knee injury. Ange Postecoglou at the time wanted him to go into for the surgery a bit earlier in the season so that he didn't miss out on the pre-season, but Big Cameron wanted to make sure that we got past Rangers in the semi-final. He wanted to make sure that the team, he's a team player, he wanted to make sure that the team got to the final, and he knew the boys would then do the deed on the day, which they did when they secured the treble. And we have to remember this as well. Last year we secured a record 8th treble, so we need to remember ourselves that we're not actually a bad team and we don't need to overhaul the squad. Says that the squad are obviously boosted with the fact that when Cameron Carter-Vickers comes back, it'll be good to get him in with this new guy that is 6'2". We need a big, strong defence at the back. You know, the players that were there last year did their job. Starfelt, we all know he is capable, but he does have those silly passes at the back that gives us the absolute fear. So the good news is this week there will be the announcement of the Legia Warsaw defender coming in for 4.3 million. It's going to be over 2 instalments, as these things generally are. But the fact is, the Legia have put in a 15% sell-on clause, so they must be expecting big things from him. The fact that Celtic have agreed to the 15% sell-on clause, Celtic obviously think that he's going to be a big player for us and we'll be able to sell him on in the future for good money, as they say. So the three players will meet up with the team at Lennoxtown. A lot of people are underwhelmed by the signing that we've made so far. You've got to remember, no one knew who Rio Hatate was, no one knew who Kyogo Furuhashi was, so let's get the Korean boys in the door and see how good they are before we pass judgment. And let's say that we're all good at saying we all wanted these big signings, but what big signings were we actually going to get for 10 to 15 million? I think when you look at players in the past that have came into Scottish football for that kind of money, they haven't been too clever. So we will be doing a live this afternoon from 6 PM UK time. It will be an hour live because people were saying that half hour live wasn't long enough and we need more time to talk about Celtic. So we will be doing an hour live, more regular, so keep an eye on the channel for that. Remember, you must be subscribed to the channel to be able to comment on the live. So on that note, have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit, roll up to the party.